Morning everyone, how are you? What day is it today? What's the weather like today? Who's absent? What was your homework? Let's check the homework. So tell us about your inspiration. Today we are going to talk about education in Australia, famous people of Australia and their achievements. Australia is situated south of Asia between the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. Australia is a continent, a country, and an island at the same time. Australia is located in the southern hemisphere. Some facts about the Australia. Official name, capital, total area, population, head of state, form of government, ports, longest river, highest point, natural resources, national holiday, money, national symbols, national anthem. Captain James Cook discovered Australia in 1770. He was sent to discover the huge land that many people believed was south of the equator. He landed south of present-day Sydney in New South Wales. He claimed these parts of the land for the King of England. In 1851, gold was discovered about 300 kilometers west of Sydney. People rushed to the gold fields to find their fortunes. These attract robbers called bushrangers. Aborigines. The Aborigines are the Australian natives that had been living there for thousands of years before the first Europeans came to Australia in the 1600s. The flag of Australia is the only one to fly over a whole continent. The small Union Jack represents the historical link with Britain. The large seven-pointed star represents the 6 states and territories, and the small stars from the Southern Cross, a prominent feature of the Southern Hemisphere night sky. Australia's coat of arms, the official emblem of the Australian government, was granted by George V in 1912. The arms consist of a shield containing the badges of the 6 states. The supporters are native Australian fauna, a kangaroo and an emu. A yellow flowered native plant wattle also appears in the design. Canberra is the capital of Australia. Its very young city population is about 310,000 people. Education. Education has 37 government-funded universities and 2 private universities, as well as a number of other specialist institutions that provide approved courses at the higher education level. The University of Sydney is Australia's oldest university, having been founded in 1850. The OECD places Australia among the most expensive nations to attend university. There exist 2 types of schools in the country, state schools and private schools. Tuition in state schools is free of charge. Private schools charge rather high fees. There exists a centralized national system of education in Australia. The top of this system is the Federal Ministry of Education, but there are still many differences in the structure and the curriculum of schools in different states. Junior high schools comprise 4 or 3-year courses. After these courses, students complete 2-year senior high school. After senior classes of secondary school, students may enter any higher educational institution in the country. At present, the school education theme is 6 plus 4 plus 2 or 7 plus 3 plus 2. In Australia, large schools are found in cities along the coast. One-teacher schools are located farther out in the countryside. A teacher in the country may teach all grades with only 1 or 2 students in a grade. Sydney, capital of New South Wales, leading industrial city, population 3,200,000 people. Melbourne, capital of Victoria, the world's most livable city, population 3,200,000 people. Capital of Queensland, it's a year-round vacation place, population is about 1,400,000 people. Capital of South Australia, a pretty and industrial city, population 1,100,000 people. Capital of Western Australia, one of the best climates in Australia, population 1,200,000 people. Hobart, capital of island state Tasmania, winters are very cold, population of about 200,000 people. National parks. Great Barrier Reef. It's the world's largest coral reef, over 2,000 kilometers. It stretches along the east coast of Queensland. It's made up of over 2,900 individual reefs very close to each other. Australians really love nature. They try to protect their nature and their animals. The first Australians. The first people in Australia were Aborigines. They arrived there about 12,000 years before from Southern Asia. They had very rich forms of art, painting, song, poetry, and mythology. The lives of Aborigines stayed almost the same for thousands of years until the Europeans came to live in Australia in 1778. In 1770, Cook landed in Eastern Australia and declared that it belonged to Britain. In 1778, the British government began sending the first prisoners to Australia. Over time, many people arrived from Britain and Europe. Life was difficult. There was very little water and the climate was very hard. The Europeans suffered a lot in Australia, but the Aborigines suffered a lot more. Europeans stole their land and killed thousands of Aborigines. They also brought new diseases with them. In parts of Australia, not one Aborigine survived. Today, Aborigines continue to live in Australia, but their culture is under threat. In 1770, there were about 300,000 Aborigines. Now there are 120,000. It's becoming harder and harder for them to continue their traditional way to live. Today, Australia is a modern industrial country, independent from Britain since 1931. The Commonwealth of Australia consists of 6 states and 2 provinces. It's the world's biggest producer of wool, bauxite, and important producer of wheat, meat, sugar, and fruit. Tell about Australia using the chart. Geographical location, capital, total area, population, native Australians, principal towns, world's famous sites, principal industries, head of state, animals. Most famous Australian celebrities, as you see in this picture. Famous people of Australia. Hugh Jackman is an Australian actor and producer who is involved in film, musical theatre and television. He starred in the X-Men and Van Helsing. Nicole Kidman was born in Honolulu. She is actress, singer and film producer. She is the first actress from Australia who got the Oscar for Best Actress. Heath Ledger was an Australian actor and director. After performing roles in Australian television, Ledger left for the United States to develop his film career. He is famous for his role of Joker. Russell Crowe is a New Zealand-born actor, film producer and musician based in Australia and the United States. He became a famous actor for his role in the historical film Gladiator. Feedback and assessment. So rate your understanding. I'm so lost. I don't really get it. I'm starting to get it, or I got this, I could teach it. So your home task. Write about your favorite celebrity. Why do you like him or her? What films do you like with his participation? That's all for today. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.